Good morning, campers. So, today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. And today, we're going to do math again. And the things that we'll be covering is converting fractions, exponents, subtraction, story problems, and area of circles. Now remember, I'm going to go over the first problem of each section on your worksheet today. So, basically, you'll have the first problem done by what I'm doing. So you need to follow along as I do this if you're having troubles. If you have any questions, message me on Class Dojo. So let's get started. Before I begin, if you're having any issues uploading information to Class Dojo or setting it up, and you've already asked me and it's still not working, ask another student if you have their contact information. I have a lot of students that have already set it up easily, so if you're having any issues, because it looks different on my end, ask a friend. They probably know. So, first, let's do converting fractions. The first question on your worksheet is, how many twelfths is 1/3? Now, this may seem pretty confusing, but look it's asking us twelfths. Twelfths is a denominator. So is thirds. So what it wants us to do is go from thirds to twelfths. Now, we already know we have 1/3. Just one. So, the way we set this up is we have to say, what is 12 divided by 3? What is 12 divided by 3? Ready? 4. So, we know 12 divided by 3 equals 4. The reason why we did that is because we're dividing the denominators to get our numerator. And as we know, the numerator is our top number. Pretty simple. You divide the denominators to get your numerator for what it's asking you to do. It's asking us how many twelfths. All right, next one, exponents. Exponents. The first one on your worksheet is 14 to the second power, or 14 to the power of 2. You can say it either way. Now remember, that does not mean 14 times 2. What does it mean? 14 times 14. It's how many numbers times itself. So we have, this is going to be 14 times 14. Now it's hard to solve a problem this way, so what we'll do is we'll stack it. We know 14, or 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Then we move over to this, but before, what do we need to do? Put a 0 in the ones place. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. Then we simply add. 6, 9, 1. So our answer is 196. Now remember, when you're turning this in, I am looking to make sure that you're showing me your work. You can't just write in the answer. Gotta make sure you're not using your phones. Use your fingers, use a piece of paper, use your pen, not technology. That's what these are for. So, next up, subtraction. Now this is not just simple subtraction. What I did is I threw in some big numbers and some decimals on you, because I know you can do it. So, the first one on your worksheet is going to be 50 minus 12 and 50 hundredths. Obviously, kind of hard to do it that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to stack it. And the way we're going to stack it is 50 minus 12 and 50 hundredths. Notice there's a big gap here. How am I supposed to subtract something if there's nothing there? We've talked about this in class. 50, you want to fill it in and add 0 hundredths there. Now we can solve it. Because what is 0 minus 0? It's 0. Now I can't do 0 minus 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross this out and make it 49 and add 10. So now I have 10 minus 5, which is 5. Notice how I just didn't borrow from this. I knew I could borrow from this whole piece right here and make it 49 like we've been practicing in class. Now I have 9 minus 2, which is 7, and 4 minus 1, which is 3. The last thing I'm forgetting, decimal. There's my decimal, and here it is again. So it's 37 and 50 hundredths. All right, let's move on. Next up is story problems. I'm going to write out the first story problem on here so you can get a good visual of it. So, at a meeting, the ratio, this is of men to women, men to women was 3 to 2. There were 150 women at the meeting. How many men were at the meeting? I'm going to switch this too, because I want there to be more women there than men. So, the ratio of women, we got more women CEOs there, to men, was 3 to 2. So, now we know, I'm going to use a different pen for this to write it out. Women is the first thing that's listed there. What's our first number that's listed? 3. So we know that women equals 3. And now, men is the second thing listed, and what's the second number listed? 2. So men equals 2. What's 3 plus 2? 5. There's 5 people there in all. But now it says, what if there were 150 women there? 150 women at this meeting. So what we want to do is set up our ratio problem. So we have women over men, which equals 3 over 2. And then it says, what if we had 150 women? How many men would we have? So I need to work backwards. I need to ask myself, what is 150 divided by 3? What is 150 divided by 3? Think about it. 50. Because if this was just 15, it would be 15 divided by 3, which would be 5. So I know I can just add a 0 in there. 50. And the numbers are the same top and bottom on this inside. Whatever you did to the top, you need to do to the bottom. So 2 times 50 is 100. I know that if there are 150 women there, there's going to be 100 men. And if I took it a step further, how many people in all were there? Well, what's 150 plus 100? 250 people. That is a big meeting. So, last thing before we go for the day, we are going to do area of a circle. Now, let's remind ourselves, what is the equation for an area of a circle? Try saying it out loud while I erase this. That's right. The area of a circle equals pi times radius squared. In our example today, we're going to have a circle with a radius of 7 centimeters. Notice my number's labeled with a unit, centimeters. So that should be in your answer. Our first thing, what does pi equal? Well, pi equals 3 1400ths. So I can plug that in. I can also plug in my radius. What is my radius? 7. So my new equation is going to be 3.14, or 3 1400ths, times 7 squared. It's not 7 times 2, it's 7 times 7, which is what? 49. So I'm going to just write it down here, because I know that's the same as this. And then I'm going to multiply. 9 times 4, 36. 9 times 1, 18. 19, 20, 21. 9 times 3, 27. 28, 29. Now I'm going to move to the tens place, but before I do, I need to put in that 0. 4 times 4 is 16. Erase that. 4 times 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 4 times 3, 12. Now I'm just going to add it up. 6, 7, 9 plus 5. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 1 plus nothing is 1. What am I forgetting? 2 things. First one, decimal. How many decimal places do I have? 2. Whoops. 1, 2. So I have 154 7600ths. Not done. What do I need to do? Label my answer. Squared, because anything with an area is going to be squared. And my units, what's my unit? Centimeters. And that concludes today's lesson. Remember, if you have any questions, please message me on Class Dojo. If you're having trouble setting it up, if you haven't asked me yet, I'll do what I can to help you. Otherwise, ask a student in the classroom. You guys know that side of the program better than I do. And you know you got this. So you guys have been submitting great work. I'm super proud of you. Keep it up. And I look forward to continue this. You're doing great. Don't give up. Have a good day. Bye.